What if I told you that antimatter is not the opposite of matter, but the same matter moving backward in time? What if I told you that every electron in the universe may be the same electron, zigzagging through time since the beginning of everything? And what if I told you that this idea didn't come from science fiction, but from one of the greatest physicists who ever lived, Richard Feynman? This is not a story about particles. This is a story about time, identity, and why reality exists at all. Because once you understand antimatter the way Feynman did, you will never look at the universe the same way again. Chapter 1: The Problem No One Could Explain. In the early 20th century, physicists believed the universe was simple. They were particles. They had mass. They had charge. They followed equations. Then everything broke. In 1928, British physicist Paul Dirac tried to merge Einstein's relativity with quantum mechanics. His equation worked, but it predicted something terrifying. For every particle, there must exist another with the same mass, but opposite charge. At first, everyone assumed the extra solutions were meaningless. Just a math trick. But in 1932, Carl Anderson detected something impossible. A particle identical to an electron, but positively charged. The positron. Antimatter was real. The universe was no longer simple. It was doubled. Chapter 2: The Great Paradox. Here was the problem. The Big Bang should have produced equal matter and antimatter. But when matter and antimatter meet, they annihilate into pure energy. So the universe should contain nothing. Yet here we are. Galaxies, stars, planets, life. So where did the antimatter go? Physicists tried to explain the imbalance. They called it baryonic symmetry. They blamed tiny violations in symmetry. They invented fields. They invented inflation. But nothing fully solved the mystery. Until Richard Feynman looked at the problem and realized something shocking. Chapter 3: Feynman's Insane Realization. Feynman was not satisfied with complicated explanations. He believed nature was simple, even if the truth sounded crazy. While working with quantum electrodynamics, he noticed something strange. The math treated antimatter exactly like matter, except the time direction was reversed. So he asked a forbidden question. What if antimatter is just matter moving backward through time? Not metaphorically. Not symbolically. Literally. A positron is just an electron, traveling from the future to the past. And suddenly the equations became clean. Perfect. Elegant. No extra particles. No duplicates. Just one universe playing tricks with time. Chapter 4: The One Electron Universe. Feynman joked about something even stranger. He said, there is only one electron in the universe. It travels forward in time as matter, then backward in time as antimatter. Over and over. Crossing itself. Zigzagging through history. That's why all electrons are identical. Not copies. Not siblings. The same one. Time is not a river. It is a loop. And antimatter is the proof. Chapter 5: Why this shatters reality. If Feynman is right, then the future already exists. The past is not gone. Time is not one way. Identity is an illusion. The universe is self-referencing. You are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. Ending of Part I. In Part II we will explore why annihilation is actually time collision, why causality may be optional, and how this idea predicts time symmetry experiments. Because once you accept antimatter as time-reversed matter, you are no longer inside the universe. The universe is inside time. Why does antimatter exist at all? Feynman's answer will shatter your reality. Part II: When time collides with itself. Recap: the single idea that changes everything. In Part I, we discovered the forbidden interpretation. Antimatter is matter moving backward through time. Not metaphorically. Not symbolically. Physically. This single idea turns every law of physics inside out. Because now, annihilation is no longer destruction. It is two timelines crashing into each other. Chapter 6: What really happens in annihilation. When an electron meets a positron, they vanish. In standard physics, they convert into energy. But in Feynman's time reversal picture, something else is happening. Imagine a line moving forward in time. Now imagine the same line moving backward. When they meet, they cancel. Not because they disappear, but because the path through time closes. The event we call annihilation is actually a time loop sealing itself. Nothing is destroyed. The path is simply complete. Chapter 7: The universe is a giant time circuit. If antimatter is time-reversed matter, then the universe is not expanding from the past into the future. It is a closed system of worldlines. Every particle is a thread in spacetime. Some threads go forward. Some go backward. Reality is not built from things. It is built from paths. And where paths cross, we see events. Chapter 8: Why cause and effect are not fundamental. We assume causes come before effects. But Feynman's interpretation does not require that. In his equations, particles can move forward in time, move backward in time, change direction, interact with their own past. The math does not break. Only our intuition does. What we call cause may simply be the direction our brain reads the path. Chapter 9: The CPT symmetry. There is a sacred law in physics. CPT symmetry. If you flip charge is C, parity P, time T, the universe still works. This is not coincidence. It is the universe telling us. Time reversal is not forbidden, it is built in. Antimatter is not an exception. It is the missing half. Chapter 10: The two-headed universe. Imagine time as a road. From the Big Bang, two directions emerge. One side is matter. The other is antimatter. They are not enemies. They are mirror histories. We live on one side. The antimatter lives on the other. Not elsewhere in space. Elsewhere in time. Ending of part II. If time can flow both ways, if particles can reverse direction, then the universe is not running toward death. It is eternally self-balancing. In part III we will explore why the arrow of time exists, why you only remember the past, and how entropy hides the truth about time. Because the greatest illusion is not matter. It is now. The time mirror. So far, we have followed Feynman into forbidden territory. Antimatter is matter moving backward through time. Annihilation is a closed time loop. The universe is a web of worldlines, not objects. But there is one problem. If time can go both ways, why do we only experience one direction? Why do we remember the past but not the future? Why does time feel like an arrow? Chapter 11: The arrow of time is not a law. There is no equation in physics that says time must move forward. Newton's laws work in reverse. Einstein's relativity works in reverse. Quantum equations work in reverse. Only thermodynamics seems to care. It says entropy always increases. This is called the arrow of time. But this is not a law of motion. It is a law of statistics. Chapter 12: Entropy is a memory trick. Entropy measures disorder. But disorder is not a force. It is a counting rule. There are far more messy states than tidy ones. So when a system evolves randomly, it is overwhelmingly likely to move toward disorder. That direction is what we call time's arrow. But it is not fundamental. It is a consequence of probability. Chapter 13: Why you remember the past. Your brain is a physical system. It stores memories by increasing entropy. Every memory is written by burning energy. So you can only remember states that had lower entropy than now. That is why the past feels real and the future feels empty. Not because the future does not exist, but because you cannot store a memory of it yet. Chapter 14: The two-time universe. If entropy defines direction, then the universe may have two-time arrows. One moving forward. One moving backward. Both increasing entropy from their own perspective. Both feeling like the future. Both calling the other side the past. Matter lives on one branch. Antimatter on the other. They are not opposites. They are twins. Chapter 15: The cosmic symmetry. Modern experiments show tiny violations of time symmetry. But they are not large enough to explain everything. This suggests something deeper. Time itself may be globally symmetric, but locally broken by boundary conditions. The Big Bang was not the beginning. It was the mirror point. The Great Revelation. We began with a paradox. The universe should not exist. Matter and antimatter should have annihilated into nothing. But instead, we found something stranger than nothing. A universe where antimatter is matter moving backward in time. Annihilation is a closed time loop. The arrow of time is statistical. The Big Bang is a mirror point. Now we face the final layer. Chapter 16. Are you free? If the future already exists. If particles trace fixed worldlines, then is free will an illusion? Feynman did not believe physics killed choice. He believed it changed what choice means. You are not separate from the universe. You are a process inside it. Your decisions are not exceptions to physics. They are expressions of it. Freedom is not randomness. It is participation. Chapter 17. What death really means. If time is not one way, then death is not an end. It is a boundary in one direction. But your worldline still exists in spacetime. You do not vanish. You are complete. Every moment you ever lived is still there. Not as memory, as structure. Chapter 18. Is the universe conscious? Not conscious like a mind, but self-referential. A system that contains observers who describe the system. A loop that studies itself. In this sense, awareness is not outside the universe. It is how the universe knows it exists. Chapter 19. The final paradox. Why does anything exist? Because nothing is unstable. Time must move. Paths must form. And the universe must explore all of itself. Antimatter is not a mistake. It is the proof of symmetry. Final words. You are not a passenger in time. You are a curve in spacetime. A story written in geometry. A loop that briefly becomes aware of itself. And when you look into the night sky, you are not seeing the past. You are seeing your reflection in time.